Hello, my art loving friends. I have so many fun art supplies to show you today. Mostly watercolor, few exceptions, mostly watercolor. Let's just dive into these boxes and packages and see what we have. It's going to be very exciting. So yes, this is a pre-Christmas art haul because I couldn't help myself. So there's a couple of good reasons, at least I've made them good reasons in my brain. Everything here makes me quite happy. Some were great Black Friday deals or Black Friday weekend Cyber Monday deals. And I've lost my grandma and my mother recently, and they were the two people in my life that definitely bought me art supplies, and I don't have them anymore. So sometimes I just buy my own art supplies when I want to try something new. And next year, 2023, is going to be an entire year of no buy. So I went maybe a little overboard, kind of panicking about that. But like I said, everything you're going to see today makes me very happy, so I want to share it with you. First thing is this Grabie 12 watercolors. Now, I did not buy this. This was sent to me by the company, and it's so funny because I just clicked on YouTube over there and I saw that Becky released her review about this set, and I am not going to watch it. So today is Friday. You're not going to see this until Tuesday. So her video just came out. I don't want any influence at all, but we are going to try this set today with one of the Class 101 lessons that I still need to do before my time runs out on that. So we'll get into this, but let's take a look at all the other stuff first. So here is a picture frame. I really hope this works when, oh no. That's so funny because I looked up 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. I had it squished under something heavy and it's still kind of bubbling up. But anyway, it said that that was 12 by 12. But apparently 30 centimeters is including the frame that comes with it before you cut it out around the line. So this doesn't fit, but the biggest question is, do the reds match enough for me to put this in here? Or should I return this frame? Or should I use this frame for my truck that I did? Hold on, let me go get that real quick. Found it. That took some doing. Okay, so I don't think it's gonna work for the Christmas one. The reds are just too far off. But let's see if the truck fits in there as far as colors. Ooh. Yeah, so the frame size doesn't fit, so I would just have to probably cut this out again and put a white or a tan backing behind it. I think that would be fine. The next question is it worth the $22 that I spent on this frame? That seems like a lot of money for a frame, but I think it is. I think I'm gonna keep it for this truck. Okay, before we get into the fun watercolor stuff, I bought so much watercolor stuff, oh my goodness, you guys. I want to show you this. This is stick-on wallpaper. So I'm a little bit tired of seeing my background in my videos, and it's so awesome because it's the Cars theme painting, and I am not going to paint over it. Absolutely not. The girl who painted this did an amazing job. I want to preserve that. So instead, I will use this stick-on wallpaper, cover it for a while, and then maybe hang some of my own paintings or some of my favorite work from other artists on it. And you can see it's a beautiful turquoise and gray mixture. Riley is going to help me hang that, so he says. I was gonna do it myself, but I thought, oh my gosh, it would be so much easier with two people. So we're gonna do this a little bit later, and you will not see the road behind me anymore. It will be kind of sad, won't it? But yeah, I'm ready for a change. And it's just a sticker. I can always pull it back off if I don't like it, right? Right. Next are these two beauties right here. Oh, okay. I already have these. Yes, I have the Portable Painter Classic. I have the Portable Painter Micro, but they had these 25% off, and they were the new kits that came with all the fancy little add-ons. I'll show you what I mean. So this kit is the classic, and it comes with 2 water brushes that are short and stubby and adorable. And these are the big deal here. These are the extra little pans that go inside. And I'll do an extra video comparing the original with this one. But you can see here where the brush used to go is now a place where you can put more paint. And then you can switch them out with other options with the extra pans that they gave you. And at 25% off, I just could not resist picking them up. So what I will probably do with my original one is put it in a giveaway for you guys eventually. And the micro had some extra goodies. You can see the bag is a lot bigger. Again, I'll do an extra video comparing the two later. The painter is the same, the little box that comes with it, but you get all these extra little pans. They're so cute. They're so cute. So I don't know, sometimes getting a brush into these teeny tiny ones might be interesting, but what a fun concept, right? Then there's this. Oh, I've had this on my wish list ever since I saw Mission Gold released it. There's enough on my Amazon wish list already for art supplies that I want for Christmas for the rest of the family that might even actually look at that wish list, that I felt it was pretty safe to get this, and I wanted it so desperately because I've never seen Mission Gold in anything other than tube paint until they released these sets. Now there's 3 different sets, and I picked the one with the palette that I liked the most because I really am into different palettes. They intrigue me. I want to collect all these different palettes, and then eventually you put your own paint in that is your favorite. But this Mission Gold paint is really nice. I really enjoy using it, and the palette looked fascinating. So let's open that up and see what it looks like. Okay, so we have nice big mixing space, huge mixing space. And then that, oh, okay, so that doesn't pop out, it rotates over. And, 24 colors. So yes, like I said, I've never seen Mission Gold in anything but tubes, and these are pans. I just love this palette. That's plenty of mixing space. So I've seen online where this black cover, yeah, comes out. Okay, so apparently if you pop that out, then it comes out. So you can change out the pans underneath, and I guess the black cover is what holds them in more securely. Interesting. We'll play with that in a future video for sure. So if you're new, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything coming up. There's so many fun things coming up. It's gonna be crazy fun. It's so cute. I just love it. All right, next thing. Moment of weakness. Can we just say Black Friday moment of weakness? And I don't regret a thing. Maybe. Maybe. This entire box is Da Vinci. From Da Vinci. All Da Vinci. Oh, Da Vinci goodness. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, things that are not watercolor would be this Joyce's Signature Da Vinci Oil Palette. And in case you don't know, I teach oil painting at the local community college. And I've gotten really into oil painting again because of that. All of my oil paints are old. They're probably 20 years old. However, they're working fine. They're working fine. And sometimes we use different paint at the college. That's all good too. But I wanted to try Da Vinci oil paint. So I bought this set. It's a set of 12 oil paints curated by Joyce, which I will explain in an upcoming video when we talk exclusively about this oil paint. And then when you bought this set, they gave you a free titanium white oil paint. So that's great. In oil painting, you tend to use a lot of white, so I got a free one of those. And then for some reason, they sent me an extra white. So I don't know if that set came with a white and then you got an extra white, or if this was a mistake or what. But I have 2 huge oil paint whites. They're titanium whites, by the way. And then something that looks very much the same as that, but is not, is titanium white, but this is gouache, because I have gouache in this little palette here, and I think white is probably something that I will run out of first, especially being on that buying freeze, because I do have a lot of other paint, gouache paint, cheap paint, really nice Holbein paint that was a gift, really nice M. Graham paint, gouache paint that I bought myself. I think I bought it myself. Anyway, I was concerned next year being on a no-buy, I would run out of white if I used it, so I got a big white. And then we have all of the Da Vinci watercolors. Dang Black Friday and their deals. So the deal was, I think, if you bought $100 in watercolor supplies, then you were given the entire Da Vinci range dot card set for free. And they actually forgot to put my dot card set in with my box, but it is coming in the mail for me tomorrow. That's the other thing about Da Vinci. Every time I've emailed them, I have received a response in probably 30 minutes or less. And it's, you know, all English. It's an American company, right? So the fact that it's not something that I expect anymore these days. I don't expect an immediate response, and I definitely don't expect the English to be like English like I'm used to, right? So that's been a true treat dealing with them. So they sent the dot cards. I'll include it in this video so you can at least see it, but we will play with it in a future video. So I'll just throw that clip in here later. But watercolors. So I was concerned. I bought all these and then I'm like, oh, Kimberly Crick sent me that entire palette of Da Vinci paint. And I didn't forget about that palette, but I was in the moment, the buying moment. And so when they came, I was like, oh, I wonder how many are going to be duplicates. Good news. This is Denise Soden's Earth Friendly Watercolor Palette. There's Chica. She just jumped up on the desk. And there's 24 colors in here. And out of these 24, 15 are new. So 15 are not included in the set that Kimberly Crick sent me. So that is good news. I expected more than half of them to be duplicates. So the fact that 15 out of the 24 are not in this palette just made me very happy. So yes, we have Denise Soden's Earth Friendly Set. Beautiful gray palette, color I don't have yet. And this is what they look like. So we will explore this in a future video as well. Then I was a sucker for deals. And if you bought this autumn palette, then you received this watercolor tin for free. And it's also gray, which I love. Just cute, normal metal palette. I just like that it's gray and different. Plus, it will fit the colors that came in this autumn palette. And out of this autumn palette, 4 I do not have in the set that Kimberly Crick sent me. So I'm not doing bad as far as duplicates. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself, considering I didn't even think about that when I was ordering all of the things. Ay, ay, ay. Huge tubes of paint. Again, we'll explore this in a future video. And then, to get my $100, I had to order a couple extra things. So, and I didn't even check if these were in the palette that Kim sent me. So, kind of a dork, but that's okay. They aren't. I got lucky, right? So Titan Buff, big tube of that. I really love this. I love mixing this in with other colors. And then this sea glass. It just seemed like an intriguing color that spoke to me. All right, so other than the dot cards, which you'll probably see me in different clothes for, that is everything in my art haul. The dot cards came, and I have to tell you, it is not what I was expecting. You guys are not gonna believe this. Look at this. Look at the size of this. I expected dot cards like you get from Turner and Winsor & Newton, the ones with like barely anything in them, but let me show you exactly what we have going on here. This is, wow. Do you guys see the amount of paint in these dot cards? I'll be able to do my normal dot card painting series. If you haven't been exposed to that yet, I'll link that playlist in the corner for you because I have so much fun. When I have dot cards, I make actual paintings out of them, and I'll be able to do that easily with this. I could probably make 2 or 3 paintings out of the amount of paint put into these. So this is that first set. Under that we have this with those and those. Oh my goodness. Look at these two, are sure pretty. I do like opaque paints sometimes. Sometimes. And these, oh, these are pretty. I can tell already. I can't believe these are so generous. This is insanely delicious. Look at all those. Wow. Last one. Those. So, what is that last one? Charlie O Blue. Oh, that's that new one from the Charlie guy that does the sketchbook. Oh gosh, I have some books of his that I'm going to review for you guys on this channel at some point. Charlie O Shields is his name. So that is 5 dot cards. How many comes in this? 4, 8 times 3, 24. So this is 98 plus 112 colors here in dot cards. Wow. That is going to be insanely fun to play with later. Let's open up this Grabie palette and use it for one of those Class 101 lessons and see what we think of it. And then we can watch Becky's video. All right, let's take a closer look at this palette. I did get into it when I picked it up from the post office box because I couldn't help myself. And the idea and the curation of it is actually really cool. So it comes in this little bag that has the drawstring, and the bag is just jam-packed full of goodies. So it's kind of interesting because you pull it out and there's an eraser and a pencil sharpener, but when everything comes out, which is kind of hard to do, they could have made the bag a little bigger. That's okay. But you get the fine liner and a paintbrush, so you're like, why is there a pencil sharpener and eraser when there's no pencil? Well, just wait. Then you get swatch sheet and watercolor paper. Usual metal tin, quite nice, feels good. Open that up. It even has the rolled edges, so it is a high quality metal tin. And this right here, this is why you have the pencil sharpener and the eraser, because this is a pencil. So it's taped. If I undo the tape, not too hard to get off. Left a bit of a sticky residue, which will go away as you get it dirty. So yeah, just a little pencil, woodless. I don't know why they put it in a little case, maybe to keep the graphite, I don't know. Keep it from banging the edge, even though it kind of sticks through the little hole. I don't know. When I first opened this up, I was a little bit disappointed, I think. I know that this is just meant for fun, for travel, you know, all levels, kids, adults, whatever, so that's fine. But the colors definitely look very fluorescent to me. It's not something that I would probably want to use all the time. I am very excited though to try it out and use it in today's video. And just because of the way it's presented, I think it would make a great gift. Like my 10-year-old niece, if I can try this out and use it and clean it up well enough, I think this might be something I will gift her for Christmas, because she is starting to get into art and fun stuff like that. So this is a travel brush that unscrews, and then you flip it over and it screws back in. Wow, that seems quite nice actually. Nice and sturdy. Wow, okay, I'm impressed with that. So this is more like a plastic nib. Interesting. So we'll try that out as well. It says it's the extra small. In order to paint this Class 101 lesson, I need to know what these colors are. So let's swatch and get started on the lesson. And I've kept just a portion of this in here real time so you can kind of see how they re-wet, and everything re-wet just fine except the cadmium red was a little bit challenging at first until the water kind of soaked into it, and the white was very hard to get like a good amount of it out. It was funny because when I was stirring the paint up in the pan, I thought, oh, it's not that great, but then I would put the paint down on the swatch sheet and I'm like, wow, this seems really, really nice. It's not like what it seems in the pan when I put it out on the paper. However, I do change my mind about that later in this video, so definitely keep watching because I will tell you even more. And it was the rose and the ultramarine when I was stirring it in the pan especially that seemed kind of, I don't know, like it had a lot of fill or a lot of white in it, but then you can see when it goes down on the swatch sheet, it's like, that doesn't seem too bad. It actually seems pretty transparent. It's not terrible. And when I was stirring that ultramarine up, I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be streaky and gummy on the paper. But it wasn't. It went down on the paper really nicely, I thought, until I go to use the rose ultramarine and that royal purple later in the video. Then things just aren't great at all. And I also used the burnt umber a little bit. And then at the end here, I was kind of curious if the whites would make pretty good pastel if you mix it in with other things, so I test that very briefly, and then I do a really fun test here in a second. All right, I'm in the mechanical room of our house. I found this black light at that little house I bought I was telling you guys about, and I just want to see what happens. We're in here because I can shut the light off and there's no windows and it gets super dark, so black light on. Okay, it's on. Light off. Ooh, we got some glowing happening on that swatch sheet. Okay, so looks like in person, these two, that one and that one, are the only ones that are fluorescent. The yellow does not look fluorescent to me. So there you have it. Back in the studio, the two that were fluorescent were the rose And the royal purple. Did not expect the royal purple to be fluorescent. It's interesting. I did expect the yellow, rose, and the cerulean blue, maybe even the green to be fluorescent, but they weren't, just the rose and the royal purple. That is what we are going to be trying to paint today from the Class 101 lesson with the Grabie set, which will be interesting because that set does not have a deep violet like she used, so we will do a lot of mixing to try and get that. I thought about using my Hanamule 100% cotton sketchbook like I did for the last one, but I wanted to use my arches for some reason. I just really wanted to pull it out and use really great paper. I do like the arches paper better than the Hanamule sketchbook paper, so there is that. You can see here I'm just putting in the initial layer, which is supposed to be a real light layer of purples and maroons, real pretty colors, and then I go to darken the colors, and I can't darken them, at least not in the way that she does in the lesson with high quality watercolors. So I could have added in some Payne's Gray, and I do kind of later on, a little bit of the, I think that's the burnt umber, but I just can't get what I'm looking for. It just keeps building up kind of this chalky layer in the palette, and it was very uncomfortable to work with. I just felt like it was fighting me the whole time. I also didn't like how it layered on the paper or how it laid down on the paper. I didn't at first like how it dried. Now that I'm looking at it the next day over here, it looks quite pretty on the paper, and I think part of that is because it's such high quality paper. And I do redeem this painting a little bit later in the video, but yeah, when I was first working with it, it just was not a great experience. I do want to tell you though, because I think I forget to tell you later, that the brush that comes with this set is really, really nice. Like, that's a nice brush. I was impressed. It's very thin, so it is, I think it's size 6, and you feel that it's a size 6, so you can't do anything too big with it, but when you need that size of a brush, that's high quality. I enjoyed using that brush a lot. However, I was feeling really frustrated with the whole painting process, and I thought, you know what, let's let this dry. I pulled it off the block, resketched the trees, and pulled out my Himimiya set, and I have used that so much. I know it really well. I know the colors behave exactly like I expect them to. They're beautiful, bright, transparent colors, mostly transparent. There's a couple in there that are opaque, obviously, just like any brand, but anyway, beside the point. I know these colors. I love them. They act exactly like they're supposed to. The ultramarine acts just like an ultramarine. Mars black just like a Mars black. You know, you get the point. And it has a beautiful, what I assume is a dioxazine purple in it and a rose. So I figured I would have all the colors that I need for this painting to try it again, see if I could redeem myself, because I honestly felt like a failure for that first painting. It didn't give me a good feeling at all, like maybe I have forgotten how to paint, which is silly, but that just tells you how important some of the quality of the supplies that you use can be. And I hope that you guys can notice the differences between the previous painting and this one, just in the paint alone. Plus, the painting experience itself was so much more enjoyable, and I hate to say that because the idea of the Grabie set, that travel watercolor kit, is such a great idea. And it's very high quality stuff that they put in there, except for the paint. And I know I'll tell you that again in the conclusion, but I wish that they would redo the paint a little bit. I even emailed them to ask them the pigment information, and I think the lady that deals with me is just a marketing lady, and she's like, I don't know what you mean by pigment information. So then I was like, never mind. Never mind, it's okay. So I was trying to put some of the trunks and branches in, and I realized it's just too wet, and I don't want to make the same mistake that I did last time. And I go ahead and move into the shadows where it's not too big of a deal if it's wet, and by then things have dried down a little bit, so I'm able to go back in and do these final touches with little more leaf details and branches, and just kind of do what she says we need to do to finish up the painting. So that was really fun, and again, that brush was so easy to use. It's just a joyful brush, that's for sure. And I did use the pencil every time to sketch this little tree in, and the pencil worked great, just like it should. So here it is, all finished up. Kind of slowed it down so you could see it a little more real time, and I'm using their liner to sign my name. It's a pretty soft tipped liner, but I do use it again here when I try and pull out the previous painting and redeem myself on that one. Plus, Grabie wanted us to use everything that came in the kit, so it was a good opportunity to try out the fine liner. So instead of this being just a watercolor painting, I used it with a more ink and watercolor style, and it was actually really fun. It's something I should probably experiment with more often because I did enjoy the look that it gave to the piece afterwards. I think it really added a lot. Okay, I'm going to give you my conclusions on this cute little set right now so that I can go watch Becky's video and see what she said. So the tin is extremely high quality, as I've mentioned, with the rolled edges. It's heavy, sturdy. It's much less flimsy than some other tins that I've had. Extra small fine liner is quite nice to use, works great. Pencil works like a pencil. Sharpener works like a sharpener, and the eraser is a little extra soft, but I did test it and it works fine. The bag it comes in is a little bit too small. If they would make it about a ½ inch bigger, then we'd be set. However, the watercolors are very unpleasant to use. At least they were very unpleasant for me. So if you like the idea, then do the same thing but on your own, and I would choose different watercolors. Even for kids, I would choose a different watercolor set. So I know that's bad. When I swatched them, it seemed like, oh, these are really nice, but painting with them was very challenging. I did not enjoy that very much. So they probably won't ask me to review any more products for them, but that's okay. I don't need any more products because painting with the Himi Mia ones was oh so pleasant. And I will take a picture of this, submit it to the class, see what she thinks. It's not my favorite piece. Again, I don't know, maybe her style and mine just don't match up because I don't seem to feel like I do very well with some of these, but I did hear back from her on that one from the last video, so I'll show you what she said right here. I was quite surprised and very happy with what she said. Wow, Miranda, your painting is well done and fantastic. You used the wet on wet technique naturally in the background and colors. I am looking forward to your next painting. What a nice compliment. I didn't expect that and it makes me happy. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I love having these art supplies. Again, they make me so happy. I know I have a lot of art supplies, but I have an entire no-buy year coming up. I'm really looking forward to it, using the stuff I have. I never use as much as I think I'm going to, but it should be an interesting experiment nonetheless. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. A tiny little puppy.
That's hilarious that she immediately
Whoa, dog bile.